If you set up budgeted fixed assets, you can, for example, calculate your future depreciations, not only taking into account your current fixed assets, but also the ones that you plan to acquire in the future. All right, let me show you how we can create a budgeted asset. So I will go to fixed assets and I will create a new one. And because we're expanding, we think that we need another forklift truck next year. So let me enter a description with the word budget so that you can quite easily recognize it as a budgeted asset if you print a list or a depreciation table or whatever. So the fixed asset class is tangible, and let's assign it to vehicles. Location code, okay, you can enter location code, but it's not necessary for this example. The most important now is that you enable budgeted assets. So that's basically one of the only differences with a normal fixed asset. So now it's a budgeted asset. But just like all the other fixed assets, you have to assign a depreciation method, the starting date, and so on. So let's use a starting date in the future. So for example, March 1st, 21, so next year. And this is something that we depreciate on 5 years. Okay, so that's step number 1. But step number 2 is posting the acquisition cost. Because if we would like to include this budgeted asset in the amount of depreciations, for example, to create a general ledger budget, then of course Business Central should know the acquisition cost. So how much do we think this forklift truck will cost us? Now, normally you could post the acquisition cost with a purchase invoice, but that's of course not possible here because there's no invoice yet. So we don't have the forklift truck yet. It's only budgeted, which means that we will post the acquisition cost from a fixed asset journal. And normally, remember, that's the rule I already mentioned several times. Normally, you can only use fixed asset journals for depreciation books without GL integration. But the only exception to this is for budgeted assets. So for budgeted assets, you don't have to disable the GL integration for your company depreciation book. So you can just post it like this. Okay, let me first delete the first line. All right. Okay, so fixed asset posting date. Remember, we just said that we expect to purchase the forklift next year, March. So fixed asset posting date is March 1st, 21. Document number, let me enter B001, for example. Then I will search for my budgeted asset. There it is. And fixed asset posting type is acquisition cost. And the amount is, for example, I don't know, let's take 26,500. All right, so that's basically it. You don't need to do more than this. So next I can click on process and post. So everything is posted. I can now return to my role center, open the list of fixed assets. And if I show you the forklift truck budget, you can see now that there is a book value, which means that we can now include it in the future depreciations, which I will show you in the next video.